Wild Hearts is definitely the hot game for hunters right now. There's also been a lot of negativity though, so let me give you some insight into the game before you decide to buy it. Welcome back hunters to another Wild Hearts video. I wanted to give you guys my first impressions of Wild Hearts, a game I'm sure many of you hunters have heard about. There's been a lot of talk, and I've put in about 30 hours into the game. So I thought it would be a good point to kind of just take a step back and evaluate if this is really worth your money or not. Now I'll talk about the good and bad experiences I've had so far, and yes, I am aware of the performance issues, which I'll also address near the end of the video. So I hope this gives you guys some insight if you've been on the fence about this game. So I want to start off with the gameplay style first. Monster Hunter from Capcom has been the franchise that has pretty much been the king of the Mountain of One. Literally nothing else competes for this grinding, monster hunting ARPG kind of style. So to finally see a competitor like Wild Hearts from a big studio is definitely something I've been looking forward to, and I will say that the game has delivered fairly well. So far, I've really enjoyed the hunting experience. It's not too grindy, but it's not too easy either. Gathering materials does require a few hunts, and you have to focus specific parts. You can build multiple versions of a weapon from different attributes similar to Monster Hunter, and also armors also have different elemental defenses and you have to upgrade them as you defeat stronger monsters and move through the story. There are many side elements of Monster Hunter as well that have been nailed in this game, including gathering materials from going into the wild, searching for collectibles on the hunting maps, and having side quests that teach you about the game. Heck, there's even a siege like Monster Hunter World, but I'm not going to spoil anything. So overall, I think this game has done a superb job in creating this Monster Hunter experience, especially for a first attempt. Of course, I can't talk about endgame just yet, and I will release another video when I reach endgame and I've had a chance to go through the loops. But even without endgame, if you enjoy the initial experience of Monster Hunter, including leveling up gear, progressing through a story, learning different weapons, and having some amazing hunts, this game has hit the nail on the head for me. Now, with most Monster Hunter games, there's always a tale of being a hero, and Wild Hearts is no exception to that. Wild Hearts has a great story so far, and I've definitely felt a very similar story arc of going from like a new hunter to a hero. More importantly for me though, Wild Hearts has put a lot of effort into developing the world. The game has a lot of dialogue and cutscenes really describing the world that you've stumbled upon, the history of the village, the characters and their devotion to the village of Minato. Now of course this isn't a full story driven game like The Last of Us or something, but for a Monster Hunter type game it has a great pace and world building. The story isn't very unique, it's pretty much the same tale with their unique world features, but I'm also hoping there's a plot twist down the road. But overall, the story gives me more Monster Hunter World vibes, much more detailed than Rise, a focus on the world mechanics and lore while mixing in hunting gameplay. Additionally, there's a lot of side quests that you get early on that kind of adds to the culture. NPCs have a voice compared to most Monster Hunter titles, and honestly, voice acting goes a long way. It's amazing how much more alive the game feels when something as simple as picking up a side quest has a dialogue explanation as to why you're doing this, rather than just reading it. So a big shout out to the amazing voice actors of this game. NPCs will ask you to hunt or gather things from the wild similar to Monster Hunter. You have to uncover the map as you continue to explore, and these side quests kind of lightly guide you to move to different parts of the map. So you're learning about this world as you help the NPCs out. I've put in just under 30 hours and I've only done the first chapter, so I still have a while to go. So if you play at a regular pace while mixing in side quests and working on leveling some weapons, I think you'll take about 30 to 40 hours to finish the main story quest, which I think is sufficient for the details they've given. Definitely a little short for the expensive price tag, but I'll update you when I get to the end game to see if it's worth the while. Now let's talk about the bread and butter of any Monster Hunter game, the hunt. Now overall, my experience has been positive with the hunts. They've nailed down the concept, but it's extremely unrefined. The monsters are tough, but not like impossible. Dodging iframes are pretty decent, so again, you don't feel too punished, but the game does have food and skills that you can use to extend your invincibility frames during a hunt. There are multiple ways to heal, including healing potions, Karakuri skills, and a palico-like system. Some monsters do have 2 to 3 attacks though in a row, so positioning, stamina management, and dodge timing all feel very relevant. Beginners to this genre can hop into this game and kind of learn about these mechanics and learn about monster hunting without it feeling like it's impossible. Veterans in Monster Hunter, I will say, might find the hunts a bit on the easier side, but also depends on the weapon you choose. Of course, I am expecting late game hunts to really step it up, so even for veterans, I think there will be something for you to enjoy. While you are in a hunt, there are differences compared to Monster Hunter. You can eat while you are already on the map between zones while fighting a monster. Healing potions have to be picked up, and most of the time you can do this while you are traveling to catch up to a monster that moves to another area. This is a different system than Monster Hunter, and I've kind of come to like it. You don't have to go back to camp to restock, and you don't have to worry about keeping all your materials to craft more potions and stuff on you. Speaking of camps as well, this game has a unique system where you also have to gather materials to level up a hunting map. As you progress through the story, you unlock more of these items, and then you can upgrade the map, meaning that you can place more camps around the map. You can also make zip lines to cross across the area, so traversing this map gets easier over time. This ties back to the whole world building aspect that as you progress through the game, it feels like the world is coming alive and you are discovering and reshaping it for your hunting and gathering needs. The weapon and monster matchups in Wild Hearts I feel is a little bit more exaggerated than in Monster Hunter. Certain weapons definitely have a tougher time than others when going for weak spots. All the weapons have very unique playstyles with big advantages and disadvantages. So again, this is kind of throwing me back to Monster Hunter World vibes instead of Rise, where every weapon had a counter. So it's a good and bad thing really. Like, the good is that it'll encourage people to try different weapons. The bad is that certain weapons are just gonna feel like very tough to use or battle certain monsters with. It's gonna feel very inconsistent. And if it's your favorite weapon, you know, it's gonna kind of suck to be like, oh, like this is gonna suck against this monster, I gotta change this out. Now, of course, there are still issues with the hunt as well, and I kind of want to get this out to you guys to make sure that you guys understand that these issues are bug and balancing issues that can be fixed in the future. But right now, if you're planning to buy the game at full price, you should be aware of these things. There are certain issues that occur and really ruin the hunting experience. Certain things like our palico-like thing not being in a good spot, it'll draw off the monster in a different direction and it kind of breaks the flow of the hunt. The monster attack patterns also feel slightly inconsistent. The crit and damage system don't seem to work entirely well. Actually, Famedo even reported yesterday that cannons can't even crit, which just sucks. And the funny thing is that you can actually craft crit boosting cannons, but it doesn't do anything. Rurikon also reported that endgame hunts on console are like slowing down. Like not frame drops, just literally slowing down, which I've never seen in a video game. It's just like playing in slower motion. I've seen hunters just lose monster sounds mid-fight, which can be extremely annoying, and the camera angles struggle sometimes. Sometimes your camera will just end up behind a wall or something and you can't see anything, and you'll die because you couldn't time the counter or dodge because you literally couldn't see. So if you get the game right now, as fun as it is, you will experience hunts that are just frustrating to no end. It doesn't mean the game is bad, of course, but again, it's just not refined. And it will take a few updates to see a more polished version, which I guess is the style of EA publishing these days. Now finally in the hunts, we also have the unique feature of the Karakuri. Now initially I was very worried that this building feature could be pretty intrusive to the hunting experience, but absolutely not. They have done a good job of incorporating these Karakuri skills into the hunt. They build fairly smoothly once you get the hang of it. My only complaint is that it's a tad bit sensitive. While you're moving around building, it's very easy to misplace items, which can then mess up your building and as a result breaks the flow of the hunt. The sensitivity though is not game breaking, and it just really requires a little bit more focus and precision on your part. It's also got like combinations of basic Karakuris to make more complex Karakuris. So this merging system of Karakuris is really great. It creates some more options which can diversify your hunts and gives hunters more things to consider when planning how to take down a monster. So if this was one thing that was making you feel very hesitant about this game, I think you can safely put that thought to rest. Okay, time to address the hot topic. Yes, there are performance issues with the launch version of this game. If you're watching this video about a month after launch, I would check to see if the devs have put out a patch for the performance. Otherwise, both PC and console players have been having issues of stuttering and frame drops. Overall, for me, the PC copy has been playable with some reduced settings. I'm currently running a mix of high and medium, and it's like I've been getting about 70 frames for 95% of the time. I still experience the small stutters, but it's not enough to say it's unplayable. In terms of graphical quality of the game as well, I'm not entirely impressed. At this day and age, there are open world games that run much higher details in games much better and much smoother. The art style and color are great for this game. Lighting needs a little bit of balance, but graphical detail I think could have used some more work. So overall, I don't have too many complaints about the game. Performance issues and battle refinements are the biggest things which can be patched and balanced. It just sucks that it's been so bad on launch. But there's still many elements of this game that are enjoyable. If you like Monster Hunter or Dark Souls games, I think you will still really enjoy this game, but it might be worth waiting for a sale or at least until they patch it up to enjoy without losing your hair. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope this helps you guys out. I'll catch you guys next time. Take care, stay safe, and keep hunting. Sky Sensei is out.